flexible. Let's at least, not that we just hear, oh, someone beat someone. No, let us see it at least on our phones or something. We can pay, you know, 50 shillings to watch a match. I would gladly pay 50 shillings or 20 shillings. You can say 50 shillings for poor in Nairobi, 20 shillings for poor. Like you can come up with brilliant ideas. Okay. You understand, to market the game.
But in the same breath, Sean, you talked about, let's say, there's more than just mentioning that the team won by this to this. And you realize that why it is so, let's say, easier to do, let's say, international football is the fact that there is that infrastructure, even when it comes to capturing statistics, even when it comes to record keeping. That's another thing, documentation, something that we were talking about on the show last week. Do you believe we have the proper infrastructure to even, you know, to even point out here in our leagues who made a certain number of interceptions in a certain match? And even if we do you think infrastructure-wise, when it comes to statistics, we can actually have, let's say, a data bank going back, let's say, 10 years? Because in the EPL, in Serie A, in Ligue 1, in La Liga, Bundesliga, everywhere, you can actually, you have access to statistics from 20 years back.
Yeah. I feel like this is not just for the women's game in the country, but also for the men's game. It's still lacking. The Kenyan Premier League, when it comes to statistics, it's still lacking. And
it was actually more of general.
Yes. And it is a sad state of affairs for our country. You understand? It's really a sad, you're like, really, it's 2020, people. It's 2020. But that now comes down to the people around it. You would want to do it as a media house, but I don't think you have the time to actually go to each and every game. And this comes down to the federation. It has to be the federation. They have to hire more people for this, and people who actually qualify. No, you just don't hire your friend and put them there. You actually hire people who are qualified. You know, people who are qualified to know, to create a database, to put all these things together. We need to be serious and stop hiring our friends. We need to be serious and stop hiring people who are not qualified. Hire people who are qualified, put them down. And you can actually, now this is where we can borrow a leaf. You can borrow a leaf from, you know, somewhere in Europe and say, how does this federation, and I know so many federations in Europe and people who have even reached out to me who want to work with people in Africa, but the first thing they're afraid of is the corruption part. Africans were corrupt. That just scares them away. And that is what we are supposed to work on. We're supposed to work on trusting each other. We're supposed to work with a good team, a team that will deliver. You know, give someone that job. Say, to you guys, we are 5 people. You will be handling in Women's Premier League this season. We need all the data on each and every player on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. And that data will be available for all the local media outlets to easily access. Not that now you put the data and hide it in your offices, no. But we can actually go on our website and see this is actually happening. And the website is being updated after each and every second. So definitely I think for that, the federation needs more manpower. And just not, as we said, the women's game, but also the men's game. Just Kenyan football in general. Even, it's sad, not just even when it comes to the Premier League, but even for the national teams, you understand? Even when you go check for information about the Harambee Stars players, unless it's Olunga or Wanyama, it's because of their teams in Europe we get to understand their statistics, or abroad. But these other players, you have to struggle through it to get the information. So I feel like this, at that point, it's the federation that needs to step up and hire more people who will actually provide this information. And sometimes when you access this information, it's just even, you know, paper, you know, there's that click on the website, and you can have sponsors on the website because there's so many people clicking on the website. There's just so many ways to look at it and to also generate money from all this information you're providing to people.
Exactly. Well, that has been quite an insightful conversation, I must say. And, well, we actually making a lot of strides in that, getting more women to be to participate rather than instead of just watching. We want them to actually participate in sports, and we've had a few changes. We even in the Olympics, the number of participants when it comes to women is actually increasing.
Yes.
So hopefully we'll get to a point whereby we'll see, you know, the same, if we can get to that point. Really,
it will soon. Okay, not soon. Maybe let's say
this is the start. Talking about is the start. Yeah.
But you have to admit, my goodness, when I was talking about women's football, it was like a new world for me, and I was like, wow, this is it. And even when you talk to other people from Europe, do you know how good the Harambee Starlets team is? We actually have a gold mine in Kenya. We actually have so many people who can get jobs and who can make so much money because of Harambee Starlets. It's just for us to open our eyes, and I feel that one will have to kind of start from the top, the ministry and the federation, and then now go all the way, and then they need to invest grassroots. But let me tell you, Harambee Starlets are good, and they're actually noticed on the global scene. If we work it out, I'm seeing a Women's World Cup tied here in Kenya soon. I have a feeling they will win the World Cup earlier than the men's team.
Earlier than the men's team?
Yes.
Okay, we'll just have to wait and see.
Yes.
And going with that same passion, of course, Sean, I always let my guests have the last say on the show. So as we wind up, it's a chance to change the mindset, as we talked about, the perceptions. Tell them why they need to actually give this game a chance, the women's game, since, well, as you mentioned, we don't even have to go far. We can actually walk around this compound and ask people, how many people know about the Kenya Premier League? You do understand? So it's your time to actually change their perceptions.
Thank you. This is what I would love to just say to everyone. The Kenyan women's game is serious business. It just needs you and I to put trust in it. It needs you and I to take a step. I, as Sean Osimbo, I took a step and I started talking about it. I started marketing it, and I decided I'm not going to market the Kenyan women's game just across Kenya, but across the world. All these connections that I got, I have to tell them about Harambee Starlets. I have to tell them about the Women's Premier League game, and most people are listening. Why? Because I realize the Kenyan scene is full of talent. The Harambee Starlets is one of the best teams, women's teams in the world, not just in Africa, in the world, and we need to do more for them. The moment they feel and receive our support, trust me, it won't take long, and this will benefit your daughters, your nieces, your friends, everyone involved. The same way we are cheering for Harambee Stars, let's cheer for Harambee Starlets. Do not be afraid to invest your coin, and do not be afraid to ask the right questions that will promote the game. And yes, I'll keep on talking about this, so you can check me on my social media platforms, on Facebook, Twitter, at Sean Osimbo, that is S-H-O-N, Osimbo. And we can always talk about this, and we can always continue this discussion. Let's talk, and not just discussion, we're also calling people for, that call to action. Let it be done, from schools all the way to the ministry. Let it be done, and I hope it's going to be a serious change once the schools open after this COVID-19 pandemic.
Okay, thank you very much, Sean. That was quite insightful. The passion is obviously clear. It's out there for everyone to see, and hopefully we're going to be making major strides in that. As you did mention, talking about it is not enough, but we need to push the conversation further, since it didn't start that long ago, especially in Kenya. So push the conversation, and then the call to action, do something about it. Yes. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you so much. Looking forward to seeing you again with new issues, of course, pertaining sports. Now we're going to be taking a short break, but there's more to come. But always remember that you can give us your feedback on the show via social media platforms on Facebook and Twitter. On Facebook, it's KBC Channel 1. That's our fan page. You can leave your comment there. And also on Twitter, you can tweet me at Richard, at Munga_Mbati, and you can tweet us at KBC Channel 1. See you shortly.
KBC, in collaboration with the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development, is broadcasting enhanced out-of-class learning on radio, television and online. Catch the lessons every weekday on KBC Channel 1 from 2 to 4 p.m, on KBC English Service and 15 FM from 9:15 a.m. to 5 p.m, and Radio Taifa from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. KBC English Service, Radio Taifa and 15 FM are also available countrywide on the free-to-air Signet digital TV platform, or log on to www.kbc.co.ke for live streaming, or download the KBC Online app on Google Play Store. Kenya Broadcasting Corporation, ensuring learning no matter what.
Embakasi Utawala tuko locked. Ungem Utanyahururu Kasuku Massive,
Jeshi ya Nyeri, Coast Maua na Kura kwa locked mbaya.
Kigumo Ward na ambao wote wako ndani ya KBC Channel 1.
Akulaliki Wednesday bila the ref.
Mbotela Auta Idara Kitengela,
Kiambu County 33 Pipeline Meru anawakilisha.
Rongai Maboxa pale go down. Karatina Auta Mlolongo wana enjoy show. Lare Sub County Auta Githurai 45, Lanet Barracks